I'm not live. Mark is saying, protect your life now. It is live. We're definitely live on YouTube right now, but you can cut it, can't you? No, after the fact, you can cut it. No, yes, you can't. Oh my gosh, that's true. Okay, yeah, we're live then. That's going to be an outtake.
We need a blooper reel.
I'm going to mute it and let's broadcast. Let's go. Boom. Okay, we are live. And just like that, we've already got 70 people in the chat, just like magic. 120, 141, 168. It goes on and on and on and on. This is insane. I know. Okay, guys, whilst we're waiting for the room to just go crazy, because this is the most oversubscribed webinar we have ever had, please let us know in the chat box where you're from and who you are, and make sure to change the little icon from all panelists to all panelists and attendees. We're now over we're now over 830 people right now. That's insane. Wow. Oh my gosh, this is going to move over to YouTube live so fast.
Oh my God, look at this one.
Oh wow. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make a start. Okay, what we'll do is we'll all take it in turns, at least for the next 3 minutes, whilst the room packs up. I'm gonna say hello to Holly from Humboldt County, California. We've got Cami from Missouri. Welcome. Amina from Dubai. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tish, do you see anyone you recognize? Or any country you want to visit?
Going so fast, but I see Craig from Shawnee, Kansas. I saw a lot of people from Texas. I see somebody, Donna from Rochester, New York. Oh, we have Sandrine from France. Look at this, you guys. I don't even know, but all of you attendees are making history right now. This is the most people I've ever seen on a Zoom.
Incredible. Cal, anybody you can see? Anyone you recognize?
I'm trying to scroll away. Let's go. So we can see Deborah from Texas. We have Ahmed from Egypt. Who else do we have? Let me scroll and go a random one here.
Wendy Prey.
There's so many. It looks like my Zoom is about to crash, if I'm honest with you.
I wonder how many countries are in here. Should we guess?
You guys are gonna crash Zoom for sure. Sasha from Fort Worth, Rachel from North Carolina.
My gosh, we're so close to 1,000 right now. We've got someone on YouTube joining us as well. Hey, Shafiq, how's it going? Shafiq from Pakistan. I'm still in like the first 3 people who said hello. We've got loads of people from Poland here. Welcome, Dzień dobry. And another one from Moldova. Hello, Olga. Croatia, Doncaster, Macedonia, Quebec, Texas, Virginia. I feel like I'm rapping right now. This is honestly, Callum, Tish, isn't this the greatest job on earth?
This is so cool. You guys, we are so excited that you're joining us. I have never seen my Zoom go this high of a number. It says 1,003 right now.
Yeah, we've got over 1,003. We've hit the limit right now. Everybody who's made it to the Zoom chat, congratulations. You are the select few. And everybody who is now joining us on YouTube Live, welcome as well. We will be sharing all the stuff in the YouTube live chat as well, so don't worry, you're not missing out.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, I've seen a happy birthday there as well. Yeah, so welcome. I mean, we're 4 minutes in, we've hit maximum capacity, so we've got 1,000 people watching and then almost half a dozen people more watching on YouTube as well. So I think this is going to be a crazy record. So I'm going to say straight away, any screenshots that you take or any impacts that you have from this particular webinar, share them with us on Twitter, right? Because you're making history right now. This is the biggest Wakelet webinar we have ever had, ever. So congratulations to everybody on being here. It's super, super humbling. I feel like we've got basically as many people as we're gonna get on Zoom. So I think I'm gonna jump right in. What do you think, guys?
We're ready.
Okay, I'd love to keep going and mentioning
this webinar officially is called remote learning, right? Amber's asking, what's this webinar officially called? It's called remote learning.
Yes, remote learning. So share your experience on Twitter for this webinar. This is the remote learning webinar, and you can share it with us at Wakelet on Twitter. And if you want, you can use our hashtag WakeletWave as well. But yeah, welcome everybody. This is incredible. Thank you for joining us today in this record-breaking webinar. There are literally over 1,100 people watching this, which is really exciting. Thank you to everybody. We really appreciate all of you taking the time out today to learn some new things about Wakelet. And if this is your first Wakelet webinar, just know that we love seeing input and ideas and suggestions from all of you. So just use the chat box to share things with everybody else. And make sure to change the Zoom message settings to all panelists and attendees rather than just all panelists. That way everybody can see all of your comments and not just me, Tish, and Callum. So let's get down to it. It's been a very strange, confusing, and uncertain time for everybody, right? Including educators just like you. So this month, what we're doing at Wakelet is putting out some great webinars, some great content just like this that should help take the pressure off you a little bit when it comes to returning to teaching and your students returning to learning for the new school year. So today I'm joined by the absolutely wonderful, phenomenal powerhouse of a woman, Tisha Poncho. She's a Wakelet ambassador and an educator. And in the past few months, she's been absolutely rocking remote learning with her students, right? So we're going to be having a conversation about how Wakelet can be used to create some really memorable and effective learning, remote learning experiences. So you're in for a treat. Tish, would you like to introduce yourself to our amazing guests?
Sure. If you don't know me, I am Tisha Poncio. On Twitter, I am at Texas Tech Chick. I've put it there in my name at the bottom of my square. I am a digital learning specialist in North Texas. I am beginning my 21st year in education. So I spent 9 years in the classroom teaching broadcasting and English and webmastering and programming and all sorts of things. And then I became a digital learning specialist, and I've been doing that for about 13 years. And I love that job because I am able not only to work with great people like Wakelet and Bunsey and Flipgrid, but also I have the ability to work with teachers, administrators, and students. And so I can really, really make an impact. And I love, this is my element. MISPA says that we love being with you. I love teaching and working with teachers and sharing experiences and really just being a cheerleader for all of you, because right now in education, it is a difficult mountain for many of us. And so we just want you to know that we hear you, we see you, and we are right there with you.
I couldn't have said it better than that myself at all. Really powerful words there. Thank you, Tish. We echo that sentiment in everything that we do. We've also got the wise and powerful Callum, who's joining us in the chat today, and he's going to be sharing some really useful links and also answering some of your questions. Give everyone a hey, Callum. Let's see your
everybody. I'm going to be in the backup trying to answer any questions that come through, so please ask them in the Q&A. It's quite busy in the chat to keep up, so if you have any questions just for me, please just go to the Q&A at the bottom and I can try and answer them as best as I can.
Awesome. And like I said at the beginning, guys, like most of our webinars, they tend to be very collaborative in nature, so you can just share any ideas that you have and any feedback with us in the chat, and everyone's going to see it, and everyone's going to share those ideas, and you have that information exchange and everything, which is really awesome. So if there's anything that the last few months have taught us, it's that working together and collaborating is very, very important now more than ever. And remote learning has been a challenge. It's been difficult for sure. There have been logistical problems, issues with things like connectivity, access to devices, internet. I know I did a webinar with the twins Mario and Alberto last week, and we went through some of the challenges that you guys are facing with remote learning. But most importantly, most of the challenges come from when it comes to delivering effective teaching to your students in this completely new environment. So in the next 40 minutes to an hour, we'll be showing you how you can effectively collaborate with students remotely on Wakelet, and sharing some really awesome ways that you can use the Wakelet platform to share information, lesson plans, assignments, newsletters, and so much more. It's not going to be very structured, this webinar. It's going to be very free-flowing. And Tish, like I said before, if you want to make any input whilst I'm chatting, you can just jump in. We'll have a conversation about it. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into how to collaborate with Wakelet, because, like I said, collaboration is super important. I'm going to show you some of the awesome stuff that you can do with your students and your learning communities. Then I'm going to pass on to Tish and show you how she's been using it in the classroom as well. So forgive me if things are going a little bit slow, because we have got a lot of traffic on this webinar. We've, like I said, reached absolute maximum capacity, over 1,000 people. So forgive me if things play up a little bit. It's probably because Zoom is sucking my CPU right now, like taking up all of the energy on the computer. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to jump into my Wakelet home area, which all of you should be familiar with by now. And if you're not, well, that's what the Wakelet for Beginners webinars are for. You can join them anytime you want. Tish, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm in the Wakelet home area right now. And as all of you know, this is where the magic happens. This is where I can create collections. And, you know, we've got educators who are creating collections on absolutely everything, sharing resources, newsletters, assignments, lesson plans. The list just goes on and on and on. But I'm going to focus at least the first quarter or half of this session on collaborating, because we've done some amazing things with collaboration in the past few weeks, and we've made it really easy to effectively collaborate with your students and your learning communities. So I'll take you through, I guess, as I show you through collaboration, you'll get an idea. If you don't know what Wakelet is, you'll get an idea of what it is as I show you some stuff. So let's say, for example, I'm an educator. I've created this collection here, which we're going to come to in a minute, because I'm going to do something really cool with this collection shortly. And this collection is called Webinar Feedback Remote Learning. Okay, so let's say if this wasn't a webinar, a Wakelet webinar, let's say this was a class, and I was having a Zoom call with my students. Well, check this out. I'd create a collection, which I've already done here, super easy to do. I'd add a background image, a cover image, all that really cool stuff. And then I'd click Edit Collection. And then when I'm in this Edit Collection mode, I can start adding any content that I want. So if this is a lesson plan, I can go ahead and add as many resources as I want. So let's say, for example, this Wakelet collection here, which is really cool. This is distance learning resources. I can just go ahead, go to the top here, right click, copy, go back to my collection, click that green plus button, which is the key to Wakelet, and then just paste this in. And as you'll see, that collection becomes embedded within that Wakelet collection. I can do the same with literally any piece of content as well. So if I type into Google remote learning, for example, and let's say I found a really cool article here from the Teacher Toolkit, I can go ahead and do the exact same thing. Copy it, go back to Wakelet, click the plus button, and click paste, and boom, it's there. And the really cool part is, and I've said this over and over again because it is a really cool thing about Wakelet, there's two things. First of all, I can contextualize this piece of content, right? So let's say if you've added a resource for your students, you can add that resource, you can hit this little edit button here, and then you can change this to whatever you want. So I can make this contextual and say, you know, read this first. And then I can change the description as well and say something like, you know, read this in order to get a better understanding of the task, that type of thing. Click done. Now, in this plus button, as you've probably already seen, you've got YouTube, you can add tweets, you can add from your Wakelet bookmarks, you can add images. So if you've got infographics that you want to share with your students, you can add them there. You've got PDF upload as well, which is super easy to use, really convenient. And then you've got your Google Drive and your OneDrive as well. There's a really cool thing that I want to show you as well, but in order to do it, I'm going to have to stop my video. So bear with me just a moment. I'm going to stop my video. We've got a Flipgrid plugin into Wakelet. We're partnered with Flipgrid and we've integrated Flipgrid Camera into Wakelet. So check how cool this is. Let's say I want to leave a message for my class or give them some instruction. I just click the Flipgrid video button. That opens up the Flipgrid Camera. And now I can go ahead and record anything that I want. So I'm the teacher in this particular circumstance, and I'm giving you some instructions, everybody who's joining in the chat. And I'm going to say, please put any piece of content that you think has been useful in your remote learning journey into the collection below. Just copy and paste it. That's all you have to do. I then can click pause. I can add a whole bunch of effects. I can add different options. I've got a whiteboard and that type of thing. And then I just click next. Click next again. I take a quick selfie, I click next, and that's going to upload my video onto this Wakelet collection, which is incredible. It takes a couple of seconds to put on, and that's embeddable then. When your students visit this collection, they can then view that video and view that instruction. Really powerful way of communicating with your students whilst you're away, whilst they're not in school. I mean, having that face-to-face connection is really, really important. Okay, so this is the really cool part now, right? And after I've done this, Tish, I'm going to pass over to you because you're the educator. You've got all the amazing ideas, and I want you to have the spotlight for this one. But I'm going to try and steal the show with what I'm about to do now, okay? So with Wakelet, what we've done is we've tried to make collaborating really, really easy. Okay. Now, like I said before, collaborating is super important. Group projects, newsletters, discussion, exit and entry tickets, reflection boards, anything that you can imagine is all down to collaboration. So in order to do that, check how easy this is. I've created my collection. I click the done, I click the done button. And then over here, you'll notice that I've got invite and share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my collection is unlisted or public. You can also do it with private as well, but just for this case, I'll make it unlisted. And I'm going to go ahead and click the invite button here. Now, when I'm in this area, I can go ahead and actually add as many people as I like to this collection. And I can either add them through their email, or I can add them via a shareable link or a code. Let me show you how to do that again for everybody who's missed. So I'm just moving the bar out of the way. So save your collection, click on the invite button. And here you've got via shareable link or code or via name or email. When I share this link with people, they're going to be able to collaborate on this collection. And the best part is, guys, they do not need a Wakelet account to join. Anybody who accesses that link or that copy code will be able to contribute to the collection. They can't delete anybody else's content. So I know what you're thinking as educators. You're immediately thinking, how are my students going to get around this? They're going to delete each other's work and change things? No, they can only edit and delete and remove their own content, okay? Unless you add them as a moderator, which I doubt you're going to be doing with your students. I just have a little idea. You're probably not going to make your students moderators. So to show you how this works, I'm going to do this real quick. Previously, I copied this link and I sent it over to Tish. Now, what I want Tish to do is to click on that link and click on the edit collection, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm a teacher.
So I'm doing that, and I don't know what you're seeing because I'm
not.
Yeah,
I'm seeing it. Yeah. So over here, as you can see, stay on that page, Tish.
Oh,
as
sorry.
you can see, Tish is plugged in this collection. You can see her up there. And this is content that Tish has just added. This really cool infographic. I can see it.
Oh,
it works, of course. And Tish, why don't you go ahead and do a favor for me? And as the first item, why don't you just add some text for me? Add, send a greeting or something like that, something nice. So you just click that plus button at the top, and then you'll be able to share some text with me. Oh no, I think we've lost Tish. Tish, are you there? Okay, great timing. We've just lost Tish. Okay, Cal, if you're there, why don't you do what I'm trying to do? You're gonna have to take over now. We've lost Tish. She's gone.
Okay. Bear with me a second, Ms. Bear.
Sure, I've caught you off guard now.
Okay. 1 minute. Let me just load my screen.
We apologize, guys. When there's 1,000 people on a Zoom call, it tends to slow your computer down to a halt. I think that's what's happened with Tish, but I'm sure she'll rejoin.
Just at the magic moment.
I know, right? Just leading up to it, and then boom, she's gone. She'll be back for sure.
Sorry, mine's loading really slow at the moment as well.
We've got an Anna on here. I wonder how Anna got on. I know how Anna got on here. That's really cool. I know what you did, Anna. You saw the code. That's what you did. And we've got a Besmo. What's happening? We need to change it. People are already plugging into this collection straight away.
I'm going to type something. I'm not on my Calm account. It should come up with Wakelet.
Oh, on Wakelet Community. There's James. James from Wakelet Community. Did you type James, or was that actually James?
James.
That's James watching live. So James has decided to join the collection and add. So as you can see, you can have this real-time exchange with your students. It's fun, it's engaging, it's interactive, and you can see these live elements being added into the Wakelet collection as you go along, which is fantastic. And that's the same thing that applies whether or not they're adding text, whether they're submitting a piece of work, whatever it might be. When they add something, it shows in the Wakelet collection. And then me as the educator, let's say if I really like this submission here, I can go ahead and drag that to the top and highlight it for the rest of the class, which is amazing. So I'm going to click done, and then that collection will be saved. And I can then go ahead and share that collection with whoever I want. which is, again, really awesome and flexible to do. So let's say, for example, we've just had that amazing collaborative experience with my students, right? I've shared the collaboration code with them, I've plugged them all into the collection, and then they're having a lot of fun with it. Well, now I can go ahead and share that collection, not as a collaboration code or not as a collaborative link, but as a finished project. And to do that is really easy. I click on the share button, and I can share this collection using a QR code. I can share it to Google Classrooms. I can share it to Microsoft Teams. I can share it to Twitter. I can share it on Remind. I can share it on Reddit and Facebook, although you probably don't use those with your students. Or I can just copy the code and paste it into whatever LMS I'm using. Okay, so at this point, we are currently waiting for Tish to still join. So bear with me a second. You're going to see this live right now. I'm going to WhatsApp Tish and just say, "Hey, are you okay?" Feel free to join us whenever you can. There we go. Okay, so now I've copied this collection. I can, again, like I said, share it however I want. But there's also something really cool that's been happening recently, which we love to see, and what educators are doing every single day now using Wakelet. They've created an awesome Wakelet collection, right? But they're also using an LMS platform. So let's say you're using Moodle, Schoology, Blackboard, or any other LMS platform. You can actually embed a Wakelet collection directly into that LMS. So to do this is super easy, right? We've just created this collection. It's being collaborative. Everybody's joined it. I can click the share button and then click embed. This will give me an embed code, and it will allow me to actually change how I want this content to be displayed within my LMS. So imagine if your students are plugged into a Schoology or oh, Tish is back, welcome.
Can you hear me?
You left at the worst possible moment, but Callum jumped in.
Okay, good. So sorry. I'm
It's
back.
okay. We're talking about LMSs in case you missed it, and then we're going to jump over to you for some awesome examples. Okay,
perfect.
sweet. So yeah, so this gives you a preview of what the LMS embed will look like, and you've got a whole bunch of options here that you can choose from. You can decide to have a cover image, you can remove the collection title, you can add a border, you can set fixed heights depending on what your dimensions are. You can also do a light and dark mode as well, which I think is really neat. And then once you've done that, you literally just copy this embed code, paste it into your LMS, and I think currently most LMS platforms, it will embed within that page. Now, the really cool thing about this is that we don't want your students to keep going from platform to platform, right? If your students are on the LMS and that's what they know, why not keep them there? And a really cool way of doing this is to just do that. Copy the embed code, paste it into the LMS, and then boom, you're done. Now, what I'm going to do, which I think is really cool, and it's a bit of a risk because there's so many of you, but I trust you. What I want is I would love for all of you to collaborate to this Wakelet collection, okay? I want you to share your top tips for remote learning, or any challenges that you've faced and how you've solved them, or any piece of content that you found helpful in your remote learning journey. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to click the invite code. I'm going to copy the link, and everybody in the chat right now, I want you to stop typing whatever you're doing, right? I'm going to go back to Zoom chat. Where are we? I'll get there, don't worry. There we go, in the chat box. Stop sharing my screen for a moment. Okay, everybody stop typing. Okay, stop typing, stop sending messages, and wait. Okay, that link that I just sent, if you all click on that link, you'll be able to contribute to that collection. And what we're going to do at the end of this is take all of your amazing ideas and then share that collection afterwards for everyone to see. So we're going to be crowdsourcing really cool ideas from everybody. And I just wanted to show you how easy it is for you to do that. Now, Cal in the chat is going to keep sending that as well, so that you won't lose it, don't worry. But I would encourage everybody to head to that collection and start adding as much content as you like, because it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. As you can probably tell, this feature, this particular collaboration feature, can be used for newsletters. It can be used for lesson plans. So one thing that we've got, Brandy, for example, Brandy creates, oh my gosh, okay, I've changed the link. Sorry, you know, at the beginning when I told everybody to switch it to all panelists and attendees, I didn't do that. You can see I'm not an educator. I'm not a teacher. I'm missing this stuff out. Okay, here's the link now, everybody. And I made such a big deal about it as well. That's really gone back on me. Here's the link for you, okay? It should be there. You should have got it. I'm gonna send it one more time.
Hey, Mispa, you and I are like an example of like what could go wrong when you are doing synchronous remote teaching.
Right. I love that point. Exactly. It's never going to be easy, right? Like we're trying, like when we're trying to put together a webinar or any experience for everybody, things are going to go wrong. People are going to vanish. The tech isn't going to work. Things aren't going to go right. But the great thing to do about this is to just kind of roll with it and have fun. That's what I always say.
Yes.
Okay, so I've shared that collection in the chat. I'm going to share it one more time as well, just for people who haven't seen it. And Cal, if you're on YouTube, you can share that in the chat as well. And everybody go to that link, add everything that you want. And also when it comes to just sharing resources generally with your students, I know that Tisha, you're going to jump into this really soon. It's everything. Wakelet's a place for absolutely everything in one place, right? So there's nothing that I can do that I can say that Tish isn't going to be able to say better. So Tish, I'm going to pass over. I'm going to pass over to you now to talk about it.
Well, while we're on this topic, I hope, Mispa, that you don't care that we talk a little bit about social and emotional peace. And hopefully, is Mispa still there?
I'm still here. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, you froze. Listen, I just need to say this because I'm seeing in the chat, it's saying it's not loading, it's blank, it's working, it's not working. I want all of you on this call to know that remote learning is going to look different for every single one of us, and we are all going to have challenges, no matter where our knowledge is on remote learning. And so it's really important for all of our teachers that are joining us today to remember to be patient with yourself, to remember to find the moments to laugh, and also just know that it's not always going to go as planned. And just an example of that, Mispa, is, yesterday I was planning out my planner for next week and I got off by a day. So for some reason, thought Friday I wasn't going to have to do anything. So my planner is all messed up, you guys. And so here's the thing, just roll with it. Just be okay with that and give yourself grace. As educators, we are all giving other people grace. We're taking care of other people. We're serving other people. But I need all of you to know who are with us today to just give yourself some grace. Like Mispa and I, Mispa was freezing. I lost Wi-Fi. He didn't follow his own instructions. I mean,
the link's not working.
Yeah, the link's not working. Hey, the thing is that, we're all in this together and we all are just going to practice patience and grace. And that is really the bottom line. But
I think what I did, the reason, just to address people in the chat who are saying that the link's not working. So I've just gone on the link and it does look like many of you have been able to add content. So I think that's what's happening is that I have really underestimated how many people would actually go and do this. In a class of 30 to 40 students, you're not going to have this issue. I think that what we've done is, I'm going to let it slow down for a little bit, and then I'm going to share it later on. So if everybody's attempting to add to that link, just leave it for now, and then we'll keep sharing it, and then you'll be able to add to it. So,
and I think that's a great point, Mispa. Actually, all of you, this is a great example for remote learning. You ideally would not want everybody, all of your students, 130 of them, to synchronously go into your Wakelet. You want to allow them a little bit of time, and just tell them, give them a time limit. Like, I need you to add your resource by the end of the day or the end of the week. Or, Mispa and I are trying to cram a whole lot into an hour to kind of help you guys. But just remember that, especially if you're doing face-to-face students and virtual students, you may not want all of them to do that at the same time. So are you ready for me to take over, Mispa?
I think I am. Yeah, like I said, I completely underestimated how many people would be attempting to do that. However, like I mentioned,
Randy says, thank you for addressing the nerves. Now, I'm going to tell you, Randy, before I even start sharing, is that I work with so many teachers. I do consulting, after school hours, work hours on the weekends. Every teacher I have talked to, full of nerves, very anxious, and just wondering kind of how the learning is going to look. So Mispa and myself and really all the educators that are in my PLN, we want to help you and support you. So I'm going to show you and share my screen with you, show you a little bit. And Mispa, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to share my whole desktop.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, for sure.
Just because I don't know how this is going to work. Okay. So, this is I need you to know, those of you that are with me, I was a beginner Wakelet user just last year. And you can ask Miss Beth, I was really overwhelmed. I wasn't sure how to use it. I was baby stepping it. And now I am at the point where I am utilizing 2 Wakelet accounts. So I'm the teacher that's asking Wakelet, hey, can I merge my accounts together? Like, I want to see both of them at the same time. But here's the reason. This is why I have 2 accounts. So this account, and hopefully Callum can grab my handle here and share these 2 accounts with you. The @Tisha Wakelet account. I want you to see that I use this as a professional learning tool for myself. This is a portfolio, and you can connect with me. You can go see news articles for me and my students. You can even go see my resume if you really want to see that. I also showcase some current projects for educators here, talk a lot about digital citizenship and social emotional learning. So this Wakelet, the purpose of this is for me to share out with other educators, right? So really to connect. But then, Callum, I have another Wakelet account, and this one is @TPoncio, @TPoncio. Now, this is the account that I use for my teachers, and I just created this summer. And the reason that I created this account in the way that I did is, as you can see, digital learning, remote learning, it is a hot topic right now. The educators that signed up that I know to teach did not sign up as a remote learning teacher, never thought that it was even going to be in their plan of education. And so I realized I need to give my teachers some guidance here. So I put together this Wakelet profile and pulled all of these collections together to help my teachers. Now, my teachers are my students, and you also could use Wakelet as a resource hub for your students. You could create collections called Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. MISPA, they could even do the week of August, 17th
Oh yeah.
through the 20th. It really is however you want to design this. And I was just meeting with a teacher about an hour ago who said, do I have to have a website? And I said, well, our district, we don't require websites, but you definitely need to have a communication piece for your parents. If your learning management system is not sending out, Guardian summaries like Google Classroom, you want to have a communication piece. So you could use Wakelet as your communication piece. And I have showcased in a YouTube video, I have a YouTube video under my Wakelet collection. So I have some things here that I did a video for a teacher in Oklahoma. She messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, I just don't even know about Wakelet. I don't understand how I could use it. And I said, well, let me throw a video together. Now, if you watch that video that's in this collection, I'm not going to open it because it's like 11 minutes long. It is unpolished. It is uncut, Miss Beth. I have some mistakes in there just like we have today. But I want you to know that when you are teaching your students or you are recording videos or you are creating anything, give yourself grace. It does not have to be perfectly polished. Your students know that. You are not perfectly polished every day when you're in person. So of course you're not going to be on video, and that is okay. So I have lots of resources here. Again, I tell you, this is for my teachers that are in my district specifically, but you are welcome to go look at any of these resources that I've created. A lot of these are recorded sessions that I've done this summer with a special highlight of social and emotional learning. Laura Steinbrink and I yesterday, we presented on social emotional learning for Bunsey. I've given you that. There are choice boards here. Like, I want you to have as much as you need, which is why I'm showcasing this. I hope that's okay, Miss Beth. Okay, good. So I also am content inspiration, but here's why I use Wakelet as opposed to Google Sites. And I'm going to tell you because my teacher asked me that. On my phone, I can download the Wakelet app and I can quickly drop in links to these collections, and I can have real updates in real time that's relevant information to those teachers. So that is just one way that I use it. And you can have all of this resource. It's all for you. It's all public. I'm not hanging on to any of it. Now I'm going to show you just what I was working on when Mispa messaged me about 10:30. He was like, hey, do you have a collection you want to show? And I was like, well, I am just creating one right now. So social and emotional support for teachers, for students, for administrators. This is going to be key for all of us. I will tell you, and I told Mispa this, I told my teacher, I am emotionally supporting students and teachers before I'm ever getting to the learning, before I'm ever getting to the digital content of integrating technology. I have to be able to check in with them. So I was throwing this together for my own students, my student tech leaders. I run a team of students called SWAT, Students Who Advocate Technology. And I need a way to check in with them every day, because we have to have check-ins for our virtual students. And if you're like our district, I mean, that is just non-negotiable. We have to have a check-in every day. They have to show evidence of learning every day. And so I put together a Wakelet collection. I just went in and used a picture. Mispa, what is the service that we use for the pictures so I don't have to create my own?
Yeah, so it's called Unsplash, and when you go to add any picture on Wakelet, instead of saying upload from computer or upload from desktop, just click on choose from library. So we partnered with a provider called Unsplash, and they're really beautiful high definition images. You can just quickly search for something and drag it in.
And that's exactly what I did, Miss. But I typed in check-in and I uploaded this, and you can see I made it week of August 19th. Okay. And I'm already thinking ahead. I need to be able to check in with my students or my teachers. And I'm not going to be able to do all of this at one time, which I think is a misconception out there. I know a lot of you are encountering leaders who are telling you have to be synchronous, which is what we're doing right now, but doing it for 6 to 8 hours. And honestly, Wakelet is going to help you at least make that sort of a livable situation. It is not best practice. I will tell you, Ms. Smith, that is not best practice to be synchronously teaching 8 hours on a Zoom.
Right.
But I did this, and it's funny, Miss Beck, because you and I must have been on the same wavelength, because I also did a Flipgrid video, and I just added a little direction here. Please do a quick check-in by adding a Flipgrid video, text, a graphic. My students, they love memes. I don't know. Everybody that is a teenager right now loves memes. Some people like to draw. I also told them to add the date here because I want to be able to document that, right? So if my administration asks me for that. But I just simply asked them, how are you feeling? What are you grateful for? What's your celebration? What's a struggle? I bet, Mispa, I bet there are a lot of teachers on that chat that feel like this little girl right here. And so that is why I added it, because it's very important for us to kind of see where we are emotionally before we can ever meet those learning goals. So this is just one current way that I'm going to use this with my students, so that it can free up some time so that I can help other people, but I'm also checking in with them. Let me continue on.
Just very quickly on the Flipgrid video, Tish, because I'm seeing geez, we have so many questions. We've got 60 open questions. So thank you all so much. We're going to try and, well, there's no way we're going to be able to answer all of them, but hopefully we'll answer them as we go along. But I think the Flipgrid integration has been really popular. I love the way that you've used it, and I think that it's really effective. Just a few technical questions on that. So you have up to 10 minutes of video. You can choose whether you want them to be closed captioned or not. But this is quite important. It's for teachers only. So the integration is for teachers only. And if you want your students to add responses, they can just go ahead and do that on Flipgrid and then just copy and paste their response across. It will still embed on Wakelet and it will still look wonderful. So it's a great way of having them kind of contextualize the resources that they've added to your collection as well. So.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great point. And I do want to remind all of you, if you've not used Flipgrid, you are in for a treat, because their camera, the Flipgrid camera, just came out with all of the new updates, Miss Ba. I don't know if you've gone in and played around with it, but it's a lot of fun. There's graph paper. There's all sorts of things that you can use that will help your students be able to show you their learning. But yes, that is absolutely true. My students have the ability to download their video and save it, which I love for them to do in their portfolios, which is a whole nother topic for you to use Wakelet. And I'm sure Callum, maybe hopefully he has portfolio examples, but you can find those examples on my profile as well. And so let me move over here to SWAT team. So this is another way that we are going to use Wakelet that is brand new to us. My students do not start school until August the 19th, I believe. And I kind of gave them a heads up and said, hey, we need to create a SWAT team, Wakelet help desk, and we need to put together some videos. We do have a YouTube, but I wanted it to just sort of look like a website, and Wakelet gives me that ability. And it also gives me the ability, Mispa, to drop in YouTube videos that we've already created. And so I went in and I made these little sections. So student help desk is going to be specifically for our students. It's going to house the student help desk link so that they can go put in a ticket if they're having an issue with their iPad. And then I've added some teacher videos. So this is going to be very specific to what our teachers are asking help with. And then parent videos. I will tell you the parent piece, I know it's been very difficult. I'm seeing it in my own community. There's a disconnect between the teachers trying to save the world, right? Teach, not get sick. They're worried, about PPE and cleaning products. And then the parents are like, we want our kids in school. And the teachers are like, we're trying to do it all. So parent partnerships is what I call that. And we really need to be better at those parent partnerships. So I'm going to have my SWAT team actually put together specific videos for questions that come through from our parents. And so I watch the social media to kind of see what people are asking, and people email me and message me all the time. And then I'm actually going to turn this account, Mispa, over to my students because I want my students to lead the learning, right? So that's really where we need to redesign how we do things. I'm going to see my students face to face, Mispa, luckily, but some teachers are not going to see their students. And so this is a great way to have them create. I always say, move from the completion of work, Google Forms, worksheets, etc., and move that completion to a creation. Let your students create and show you what they're learning, or create and ask questions. And that is what I have for you.
Yeah, and this I think that what you just showed us then is a perfect example of what Wakelet Spaces is going to do. So those of you who don't know, we've got a new feature, which is probably the biggest feature release that we're ever going to put onto Wakelet, although we have ever put on Wakelet. And what that allows you to do is create different spaces for your classes. So under one account and one email, you can create as many spaces as you like. So I can create a space and then invite all of my students for this particular class into the space, and then they can all collaborate and add their own collections and work within that particular space. So it's going to be an amazing way to keep everything in one place and also organize your own content as well. Just back to what you were talking about, lesson plans, Tish. Do you find that Wakelet is useful for lesson plans? Because
do you want me to show you?
I'd love you to. Actually, bear me 2 seconds, right? Because I wanted to, whenever you speak, I always get more ideas, right? So the first idea is that page that you just showed us then. More and more educators are, during this remote learning period, they realized that they needed a centralized space for them to share a whole bunch of different resources with their students that isn't an LMS and that isn't a website, right? Because a website takes a while to put together, you have to kind of code it, and an LMS isn't very flexible, let's say, to kind of do things in the way that you want. So by creating a Wakelet profile, they could have all of these amazing collections all in one place, and then their students will know that if they need to get information on a particular assignment or resources or announcement, they can just go to that particular page. There was 2 other things as well. So the other one was the idea of permissions. So with collaboration, we've literally just released it. So with the collaboration feature, there's 3 features which we've just released, which are amazing. Autosave is one of them. So I know that a lot of teachers are anxious. I mean, I'm anxious as well. There's nothing worse than creating a piece of work only for your computer to freeze or for something to happen and then boom, your stuff gets lost. Well, that's never going to happen on Wakelet ever. Every time that you update the collection, it's going to auto-save it. So it's really useful for your students as well. We added sub-collections. Sub-collections means that your students can plug into a Wakelet collection, and then they can create their own collections rather than just individual items. And then real time, which you just saw the craziness of that in one place. Obviously, with 1,000 people trying to add a link, it may be a little bit difficult, but when you've got a class of 30 to 40, it's incredible, honestly. Like, we've seen it happen, and the students love watching their classmates' content appear, and then comparing and contrasting it, and it just creates a really memorable experience for them. And then lastly, what was the other thing that you were talking about? The first point which I came to, and you were saying, that's it, lesson plans. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, lesson plans are another big one. Being able to put together an interactive lesson plan that has instruction, that has all of the resources that you need in one place, and that can deliver that really meaningful learning experience for the student. Amazing. Honestly, Wakelet makes it super easy.
Yeah, so I know we're making this a little bit, I'm watching the comments over. Wakelet has great videos, I will tell you, about sub collections. I will share out, because I don't have it accessible right this second. You probably can find all of my collections if you go to either profile, but I created a beginner Wakelet guide that kind of walks you through creating a collection, first setting up your account, then creating a collection. And they have really nice videos so that you can pause it and practice. Would you like for me, Ms. Bit, to show them the lesson plan?
Yes, for sure. That was one thing that I wanted them wanted everybody to see, because it's a really easy way to engage your students in a
Okay.
visual, interactive way. So for sure.
Let's see. Okay, so this is why I make this profile. So I have like easy access, Miss Pitt, to find all the things when people ask me, because I use it for lots of ways. I'm not going to click on this, Miss Pitt, but you showed the collaboration piece, and my
Right.
students actually create a podcast, and they write the podcast, and then we record the podcast, edit it, and upload it. And I actually have my students put all of their podcasting notes, and they collaborate on this, and I turn that over to them. I created the collection, but I want them to go do the things. So that's what that one is.
Right.
So I have two lessons here. I have a student leadership lesson and a digital citizenship lesson. I'm just going to click on the student leadership, because I just want to give you an idea of what that looks like. And I'm not sure I made this copyable. If you would like a copy, just reach out to me and let me know. I am very willing to share what I've already created, always as long as you give me credit. This has had a lot of views. I didn't know it had this many views, but this is student leadership. And so I really, because I'm serving about 970 people at my campus, all by myself. I have my students who also, they have to meet curriculum and learning goals as well, even though they're helping me. So I make at your pace lessons for my students, and I actually have them in Canvas, and we use Google Classroom. And it's very easy to embed this into Canvas for them, or into Google Classroom. And they are just going to go through. And I love this Immersive Reader piece. If you do not know about Immersive Reader, write a little note to yourself, go search it. I mean, it is going to be incredible. I don't have time to talk about it, but you need Immersive Reader in your life. And that is the other reason I really love Wakelet, because it makes the learning inclusive. If you have students who do not all speak the same language, or you have, students who are still learning English, or still, they're very easy with Spanish. I mean, it really is up to you, but go look up Immersive Reader. Now, learning goals, Miss Bay, you've heard me say this multiple times, but I am all about the end learning goal, right? I'm not going into classrooms saying, well, today we're going to learn about Wakelet. No, I'm going to say, today we're going to learn about professional goals and how to do goal setting, or today we're going to learn about conflict resolution. Go to this Wakelet and do this lesson. And so I give them the learning goals up front. And then I say, you can do this in any order you would like to do this in. Now, you'll notice I have embedded, like we talked about, Flipgrid. So I went over to Flipgrid. I created a Flipgrid for my students specifically about book study. And when they click on this link, they will do a single sign-on with Google or with Microsoft, and they will record their book study video. Then I've given them some PDFs here, and then I've given them another Flipgrid. I'm making sure they have their Flipgrids, because you can ask my students. We use Wakelet and Flipgrid on a daily basis. Then I have them pick 5 favorite questions from this PDF, and then they have to go discuss with me on Flipgrid. So honestly, what's happening here with this lesson, Miss Bet, is I am meeting a lot more than one learning goal here.
Right.
I am meeting probably, if I dare say, about 20 goals with my students just with this one lesson. I've even added this. Now, I saw some of you say that you saw me on Bunsey yesterday talking about social emotional learning, and I talked about personality quizzes and the Enneagram. Well, my students, here is that lesson. They have to go through, I have them doing several personality tests because I need them to really be grounded in knowing who they are, knowing who their team is. I would say this is a great activity for you on your first grade team, your second grade team, within your school, with your students. There are lots of ways to integrate this in, but it also really hits a social emotional learning piece and helps your students and you connect with each other. So I think that's a very important thing to note right now. And then I have videos. I put some YouTube videos in here, and I love adding YouTube videos here because then my students don't get sidetracked. So I've added those here. And then they have a little conflict resolution activity, Ms. Bell, which we all know. It doesn't matter how old you are. Conflict resolution is a thing we all need to be able to do.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm really big on goals. If you did not know that, I actually do these goals with my students. And Ms. Bell, this is a little, nobody knows the story. I think Deb Zeman, if she's out there, she knows this. But I sat with my students and we did these goals. And we had a leader kind of come in, like a professional leader. So I brought somebody from the community in to kind of coach us. And within 4 months of my goal setting, I had signed up to start my master's degree. And that was never a plan. So I'm telling you, this is something that you can do with your students. It prompts conversations that you would not normally have if I just handed a worksheet to my kids. So that is the lesson plan. You guys all can go access that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I love the way that you're using the platform because, like you said, you're engaging so many different learning goals and learning objectives.
Deanna, I got my master's. I just graduated in December. Perfect timing. My master's degree is in learning technologies, blended learning, instructional technology. Is the perfect timing.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't think of a better match at all. I've seen a lot, like obviously this has been the busiest webinar we've ever had. So the chat has been going up and down at like 1,000 miles an hour, but I've caught a few things that people wanted to see. So I wanted to go back, okay, and take a look at the collection that I shared that a few of you managed to get in. You must have been the first people. And I think that if you probably tried it now, you'll definitely have more luck getting in. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go back to the collection that we were on. So this one right here. So as you can see, at the beginning of this webinar, it had 3 items. There's now 141 items, and I can scroll down and see all of the awesome stuff that people have added. So we've got some great quotes here. We've got Wakelet tutorials. We've got more Wakelet collections, a whole bunch of Wakelet collections here, and text. And one of the things which I saw somebody speaking about, a lot of people speaking about, was Immersive Reader, right? So this is a real life example of that. We have people all over the world joining this webinar today. And when we share this collection with everybody, you'll notice that as standard on Wakelet, you'll find this little icon here. I'm going to do a zoom in to show you. You'll find this little icon here. And this icon is Microsoft's Immersive Reader, and it is incredible. On any piece of text that you find on Wakelet, it will be there. And when I click it, check what happens. It takes that piece of text that contributor added, and it puts it in a really clear, easy to read way, okay? That's good enough as it is for many, many students, because quite often they're quite distracted and they just want to have everything kind of very, very clear and big. But it gets really cool because I have full customization over what this now looks like. So when I click up here where it says text preferences, I can go ahead and change the size of the text. I can change the font. I can change the themes. So if I'm hard of sight, I can click on this and make it a little bit easier for me to read and comprehend. And I can go up to the top here where it says grammar options and check how cool this is. I can highlight nouns, verbs, adjectives. I can isolate them. So I know, okay, this is an adjective. This is an adjective. I can click on a word and I can see what that word means. I can press play and hear that word being spoken. But this is the really best part, right? I can click on reading preferences, go to choose a language, And I've got over 70 different languages that I can choose from to translate that text into. So I can go ahead and find Spanish. Let's click here. I click document, and that translates that entire document, that entire piece of text into Spanish, into over 70 different languages. So I can then click the play button and it plays that out loud in Spanish. So what Immersive Reader does, and it's really powerful when it comes to your students and your learning communities, is it really helps bridge that gap, right? It doesn't matter their learning, their reading level, their comprehension level. It doesn't matter where they're from, what language they speak, their age, their reading ability. It puts everybody on the same page, which is why we love it. And you don't have to turn it on or off. It's just there as standard. So secondly, I had a question from somebody who was asking about sub-collections, right? So one of the things that we like at Wakelet is that we don't want your students to have to jump through loads of hoops in order to use the platform, okay? So we know that it can get difficult sometimes to get students to sign up to a platform, and then you've got to deal with credentials and that type of thing. So a student does not need a Wakelet collection, a Wakelet profile to actually add and contribute to a collection. And what they can do is they can actually create collections and then add them to a collection. So I'll show you how to do that now. So in this collection here, I'm going to go ahead and click invite. Do you know what? Everybody's trying to go on this, so it may not work for me. Actually, I'm going to do it with a different collection because that's easier, because I'm sure that you're all doing some awesome stuff with that collection. So let's click on this one here. If I go to invite, let's say that you've got your students all awaiting a link. You just click copy link. I'm going to go to incognito window. So I'm in incognito. I'm not signed into Wakelet, right? When I enter that link, I get plugged into that collection like you've all just done. I give myself a nickname or my name. I click add. And then here, when I start adding content, rather than just being able to add a single YouTube link, a single article, I can click edit and I can go and click this plus button and I can add a full collection, what we call sub-collections. So I can click create collection and then customize this, add a cover image, give it a title, and then create a collection just like that, which is amazing. And I'm going to go back now to take a look at the collection which we initially shared. And I think that we'll end on that and see how many people have added to this collection. Let's take a look. 156 items. That is incredible. So 156 items have been successfully added to this. Please keep it going as well. We'll share the link later on. But we want this to grow and become like a library that we can then share out. So in terms of final thoughts, Tisha, what kind of advice would you give teachers who are kind of new to Wakelet? Let's say this is their first experience with it. What kind of advice would you give them when it comes to getting started and kind of learning the platform and then using it in the next school year?
Well, Miss Pat, I'm really glad that you asked that question because I just popped my Wakelet Beginning Learner Guide into the chat for all of the people here. But here's what I'm going to tell you, because I was a beginner. And I always tell the Wakelet team that I was like preschool Wakelet. That's where I was. And baby steps. You have to just take baby steps. Right. Like I started just curating recipes. That is how I started, truly, because I needed to learn for myself how it worked. And once I was able to really immerse myself in how it worked, it gave me a better understanding of how I then could apply that to my classroom or how I could apply it as a digital coach. And so I would just say start small. Don't, you guys out there, truly, as educators, I know that you are expecting so much of yourself because so many people out in the world and in your schools are expecting so much. And so, okay, they're saying that one of the page shows private. Betty Ann, the page shows private. Tell me which page is private.
This is a really good way to actually jump in and talk about the privacy of collections, okay? So every collection that you create on Wakelet has 3 privacy settings. Private, which means only you can see it. Public, which means that you can share it with everybody. It will appear on your profile, the world can see it. And then unlisted, which means that only people that you share the link with will be able to view it. So that's
okay, Betty, I'm showing that collection is public. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe we can, Miss, but can we email all of the attendees maybe some links out so that they can
100%. Well,
do that?
whatever I do with all of these really, really big, like mammoth webinars is I make sure to create a Wakelet collection of all of the resources shared, and then we'll share that out with you with the actual video of this webinar as well, just in case you need to do it. So I think that everybody using the site at once, listen, I love it. Like, I love it when like too many people are on the site and it kind of crashes and glitches out. It's a really good sign.
It's
I
a
love
great
it.
problem because that means they're all engaged. They're all trying to click the links at the same time, and it is probably overloaded, Betty Ann. And again, you guys know this, all of you out there, but you can reach out to me on Twitter. I have put my email, I think, out there. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. I have a Facebook page. You can find me, and if you can't find me, you just email Mesba and he can find me, and I can get you all of the things that you need because I am willing to share everything with you. Just as long as you give me credit. That's really all that I ever ask. So digital citizenship, Mispa, right?
Yeah, right. Give credit where credit's due. So I think we've got a lot of people asking for all the resources shared. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not the greatest place to share resources in a Zoom chat. It ends up getting lost and we have to share it 100 different times. So,
Hey, Mispa, that's a great point, actually. Listen, all of you out there, this is why you need the Wakelet. You need the Wakelet collection because you're never going to have your students be able to access everything when you need it.
Right. There's so much going on that everyone has to scroll back up and everything. It always makes it difficult. So we've reached the end of the hour. I'm kind of sorry that we have to go, but it's been an amazing webinar. It feels like it's been on for like 10 minutes or so. We hope that you've learned some things today amidst all of the beautiful chaos. And thank you so much, Tish, for joining us. Everybody asking about certificates. Yes, there will be certificates. Everybody who's signed up for this webinar and who's attended will receive a certificate, even those who have ended up going on YouTube rather than Zoom. So don't worry, you will be receiving a certificate for that. And like I said before, this is honestly not the best setting to keep sharing resources in. So please be patient. And what we'll do is we'll put them all in a beautiful looking Wakelet collection and we'll share it with all of you in due course. So it shouldn't take more than, we'll try and get it done as soon as possible and then send it over to you with the chat as well.
Wow.
So thank you all.
Thank you all. I want to tell all of you, thank you so much. I have never seen a chat or a Zoom this engaging. So thank you so much all for joining. And I want to tell you all, we are all better together. We're in this together. Reach out, surround yourself with PLC on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, wherever you are. And remember that we're always here for you.
100%. Thank you so much, Tish. I really appreciate it. Just
Thank
the
you,
final few reminders. We still got people asking whether or not you get a certificate. Yes, you do. Every single Wakelet webinar that you attend, you will receive a certificate, and it just comes to your email. You don't have to do anything. It will just pop there like magic. Callum, you've popped up. Are you here to say goodbye?
My fingers are hurting. I've been answering questions in the background for so long. Maybe some questions that we've not managed to answer there because it's been coming through so quick. So if you have anything else, just please email us at support@wakelet.com and hopefully we can get the answers for your questions there because it's going too quick. It's hard to keep up.
I know. We've had like over 200 questions asked. Which is insane.
That's just in the Q&A box. There's lots of questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we know, guys, we know that it's a lot to digest in one sitting. And trust me, we do not expect you to all become like Wakelet superstars after this webinar. It just doesn't work like that. You have to be realistic. Like Tish said, the way that we've all learned about Wakelet is through doing really easy things with it, okay? Simple, easy things that we're passionate about that don't require too much reliance on other people, let's say. So like Tish said, just creating a collection on your favorite recipes, on places that you want to go. Start small and have fun. And by joining the community, you'll learn a lot. And we've got a YouTube channel. We've got a whole community that you can join. There's a whole bunch of things. Follow us on Twitter as well. And please share your feedback on this webinar and all of your ideas and stuff with us on Twitter because we love retweeting and amplifying and sharing all of your amazing ideas. But that's it.
Will this video be posted soon for those that maybe missed it or came in late?
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. This video will be posted. We're going to be sharing it all over the place. Don't worry. We'll probably have it uploaded by tomorrow and we'll be sharing it with a collection and just by itself. But keep going on our YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Wakelet, or just search Wakelet on YouTube. Super easy to do. Okay, so I think that's it. What we're going to do is we are going to mute and stop our microphones and our cameras, and we're going to give you guys like 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of scroll through and see if you've missed anything or exchange any more ideas. But until then, we hope to see you at the next webinar, and thank you for being part of this record-breaking webinar. I mean, it's 5 past, a lot of people have gone, and we're still on 800 people. So it has been absolutely amazing. Thank you all for everything that you do as educators. We appreciate it. You inspire us more than you will ever know. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.